A good day. I am Ambassador Tebelelo Boang, the permanent representative of the Republic of Botswana to the African Union and the chairperson of the African Union Peace and Security Council for the month of August. This month, as the chair, we have sat down with colleagues in the Peace and Security Council and adopted the program for the month. We had envisaged to be looking at thematic issues since this is the 20th anniversary of the African Union Peace and Security Council. We had also intended and do intend to consider situational areas, such as in those countries where the Peace and Security Council is still seized with challenges of insecurity, or where it is still offering support to those countries. At the beginning of this month, we started our program with consideration of the concept of operations on the post-ATMIS mission in Somalia. Through this process, we considered the draft concept of operations that has been put before the Peace and Security Council by the Secretariat, so that we can decide as to how we continue assisting the sisterly Republic of Somalia in addressing the situation of security and continuously be building on the efforts of other support initiatives such as AMISOM that the African Union had taken up in regards to Somalia. So on the 1st of August this year, the Peace and Security Council convened and considered the concept of operations, as well as adopt decisions on how to proceed. We have thus far, as the Peace and Security Council, shared the concept of operations with the United Nations Peace and Security Council. Also on the agenda for the month of August, we had thought it important to have a discussion on issues regarding constitutionalism, governance, and democracy. In that regard, we had an open session which was attended by invited guests, member states of the Peace and Security Council, as well as the general membership of the the member states of the African Union. Going forward, we are looking at consultations with the panel of the wise, as well as the representatives of regional economic commissions and regional mechanisms. You will be all aware that the panel of the wise, the regional economic commissions and regional mechanisms are part and parcel of the architecture of the Peace and Security Council in its operations. We also intend specifically to have consultations with the Southern African Development Community organ on cooperation in defense, politics, and security. This is in a way in continuation of the necessity to always consult with the regional economic mechanisms, regional mechanisms in the maintenance of peace and security on the continent. As I have indicated, the RECs or RMs, as they are popularly known, are part and parcel of the African peace and security architecture. We are also planning, as part and parcel of the 20th anniversary of the Peace and Security Council, and as well in a bid to continuously be sensitizing and having dialogue on issues of serious concern regarding the peace and security on the African continent, to have an open session on inclusive education in conflict situations. You will recall and fully understand that education is very crucial to the development of Africa. The theme for the year 2023 has been and continues to be educating an African fit for the 21st century. And we are also talking about education that is inclusive and can have an African that is competitive. But we have realized that in conflict situations, providing education has remained a conflict. The infrastructure that is meant for education has been destroyed or unduly used by those in conflict or the belligerents for other purposes. Also, as well, children, teachers, everybody involved in the provision of education, a key element in the development of Africa, often gets affected by conflict. So we want to bring this to the fore and remind those that are still belligerent and fighting each other that infrastructure that is meant for education is off the limits, and everywhere in the world there is no room for any attack on the infrastructure that is meant for education. No children should be used as soldiers in armed conflict because they have the right to education as they grow up. During the month of August, as all will be aware, the African Union Peace and Security Council will also consider the situation in the Sudan. You will recall that last month, the Council also considered the situation in the Sudan, which was found to be very dire, a situation which posed a serious humanitarian situation, and the Council has pledged to remain seized of the matter. We witnessed last month the convening of the intra-Sudanese dialogue. We had also mandated as the Peace and Security Council, the high-level panel on the Sudan to report back to us as to what progress has been made. And in that light, the situation in the Sudan will also be on the agenda and is certainly to be considered by the PSC. We are also intending, as has always been practiced, to hold consultations with the chairperson of the United Nations Security Council for the month of August, so that we can all be singing from the same hymn book, so that we can all be in sync. It will be recalled that the United Nations Security Council bears the primary responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security. And Africa, being a continent where we still face challenges in regard to insecurity, it is crucial that we have the United Nations Security Council working alongside us so that we can jointly address the security situation in Africa. Member states of the African Union are also member states of the United Nations. The United Nations Security Council also has responsibility towards us, towards the continent, to work with us in silencing the guns. Of course, we recognize that in so doing, it should be as well appreciated that Africa still wants to find African solutions to African problems. So thus far, that is how our program for the month of August stands. I have indicated the areas where we have already held sessions on the 1st of August to consider the concept of operations on post-ATMIS scenario in the Federal Republic of Somalia. We have also had an open session on constitutionalism, governance, and democracy, so that we can remind ourselves and bring ourselves back to implement all those instruments relating to constitutionalism, governance, and democracy on the continent. I thank you.